Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, Tom Spence Fishing. This was my practice day this past Saturday on March 9th. I went up to Watts Bar and started doing some exploring. I've got a club tournament there in early April, and then I've got the Bass Nation State Tournament in around the 20th, 21st of April, something like that. So I went up there to do some exploring. The water's down at Winter Pool right now. I believe it was 5 foot below full pool, and so I just went graphing. I did a lot of fishing. I'm not a guy that can sit behind the graph all day, but I did quite a bit of graphing for me. Just looking for spots that I think are going to play in April, and like I said, it kind of if you can get out there while the water's down, and you're looking for shallow water cover and stuff like that while the water's down, it's a good time to get out there and mark some spots, stumped fields, stuff like that, brush piles that are visible now that won't be when the water comes up 5 feet. So little rock piles, it's a good time to do that kind of thing. So a lot of rain this day. I think I had, when I was fishing, I caught I think I had 6 total fish. 2 of the catches I think are not here, and I think I fried the charging port on my GoPro and it died later in the day, probably because I had it out in torrential rains for quite a bit of the time, so my bad. But not a bad day at all. I accomplished what I needed to do, kind of broke down a little section of the lake a little bit, and aside from getting real wet, I had a pretty good day. So I graphed for about 15 or 20 minutes before it was all that I could stand, and I had marked a couple brush piles, so I got up on the deck and started pitching a jig into them and going to work a little bit. It felt good to pick up a brush or flipping jig and go to work in a brush pile. Seems like it'd been forever since I had done that. Seems like I spent all winter with a 2.8 Kitech or some kind of scoping minnow in my hand, so it felt good to actually look at brush and go to work, though I am looking at it with the Mega Live, and the fish that I catch here in a minute I actually saw come out of the brush and follow it to the bottom and dump it. It's all you. I graphed this point and there was a lot of life on it, and all I caught was a pretty good sized drum. So, but we go through those as bass fishermen, don't we? Nice striper for a catfish. I'll add this for a little bit of an equipment line. I throw a lot of Dobyns rods, really a big fan, and that rod I'm throwing there is one of their economy rods, a Colt. It's a 702, 7 foot, 2 power spinning rod, and I tell you what, for an $80 rod, that dude performs, and it will handle a big fish. So a little shout out to them. I'm a big fan. Well, again, my goal for this day was looking for stuff that's going to play in another month when they're bringing the water up. So, these brush piles like this, that dock, there's going to be 5 foot of water in those very soon. So they'll definitely be playing for bass, for crappie, A lot of life is going to be in those things. There's already life in them, but there's going to be more.
Really not. He's not big, he's just angry.
So my equipment on this, I was throwing a 2.8 Kitech on that Dobbins Colt 702. I'm running 10-pound braid, Yo-Zuri braid that's an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. I believe Yo-Zuri also. Throwing that on a 1/8 ounce head, and it's a good setup. I mean, those V-lock heads, the rod just loads up. You don't have to waylay them to set the hook. I tie a double uni or a uni to uni knot for my braid to leader, and I've never had an issue with it. I'm incapable of tying an FG knot, so that knot works really, really well for me, and it's easy to tie. I put this shot in mainly so I could show off the sky. We got a little reprieve from the rain, and it got really pretty out for a little while. I was able to light up a cigar and enjoy myself for a little while. But equipment in this, I'm throwing a Dobbins 745 Kaden, 7'4" 5-power rod. It's a great bottom contact rod. I'm throwing a 3/8 ounce brush jig here. It also makes a pretty good frog rod. In lighter grass, when I'm not throwing way back in a mat in the fall, I use this rod for frogs, and am very, very happy with it. This wraps up the recording part of the day. I had 2 more fish, smallmouth on an A-rig and little largemouth on a 2.8. But anyway, guys, give me a like, give me a share, give me a subscribe, please. Really helps me out. Hope you like the videos. I'll try to keep them coming. I enjoy doing them. Want to take the boys out fishing today. We're on spring break. It's supposed to be 74 degrees, so we are going to head over to Chickamauga here in a few minutes and have a good time with the little guys. So you guys take care, and I'll see you out there.